Hey, first grade. Okay, so let's jump right into our math lesson for the day. We are working on page 401 in your big math workbook. This is lesson 9.9. So today we're going to practice time to the hour and half hour. So listen as I read our questions. Actually, let's do a little bit of a review first. Looking at our clocks, we're now using two hands. Remember, our shorter hand is the hour hand. That longer hand that touches all the way to the number is our minute hand. If the minute hand is touching 12, that means we'll be telling time to the hour. If the minute hand is touching the 6, it means we'll be telling time to the half hour. Good job, you guys. So listen as I read. Barbara goes to the store at 8 o'clock. Circle the clock that shows 8 o'clock. So this clock, let's see what it shows. I see that our minute hand is pointing to the 6, which means we'll be counting or telling time to the half hour. And our hour hand is past 8 o'clock. So that means it is half past 8 or 8:30. Let's see what time our second clock shows. Our second clock, our minute hand is pointing to the 12, which means we'll be counting to the hour. And our hour hand is pointing to the 8, which means it is 8 o'clock. And remember, our problem wants us to circle the clock that shows 8 o'clock because that's when Barbara goes to the store. So 8:30, 8. We know we're going to circle that second clock to show which one Barbara used to know to go to the store at 8 o'clock. Let's look at our second group of clocks. This first clock, our hour and minute hand is pointing to the 12. If our minute hand is pointing to the 12, I know I'll be counting or telling time to the hour. And if our hour hand's pointing to 12, that means it is 12 o'clock. Let's look at our second clock. Our minute hand is pointing to the 12, which means we'll be telling time to the hour. And our hour hand is pointing to 1. So that means it is 1 o'clock. And let's look at our third clock. We see that the minute hand is pointing to the 6, which means we'll be telling time to the half hour. We see that our hour hand is half past 1, which means it is half past 1 or 1:30. So let's see what we're supposed to be circling for that second group of clocks. Barbara takes Ria for a walk at 1:30. So which clock shows 1:30? Our last clock. Great job. That's the one we need to circle. Remember, at any time during this lesson, you may play or pause. If you have a question about time, make sure to message me on Dojo. I'll be happy to help you. Let's look at our next page. We're looking at the top where it says model and draw. Where should you draw the minute hand to show the time? So for this activity, this lesson, we're going to be drawing our minute hand, and we're also going to be writing the time that it shows, okay? So if you look at this first clock, we see that our digital clock tells us 9 o'clock, and we see that the hour hand is pointing directly at the number 9. So we know that our minute hand needs to be drawn to touch the number 12. So draw your arrow hand from that dot all the way up and make sure it touches the number 12 so that you can clearly tell it's the minute hand. Because remember, our hour hand does not go all the way to the number. And then we can trace 9 o'clock. Let's look at our second clock up here. We see that our digital clock shows 9:30, and we can see the hour hand is half past 9, which means our minute hand should be pointing to the number 6. Okay, let's practice. Look at number 1. Use the hour hand to write the time. Draw the minute hand. Okay, so for number 1, our hour hand is pointing directly at the number 4, which means it's 4 o'clock. If it's 4 o'clock, we know the minute hand needs to be drawn to touch the number 12. Let's look at number 2. Our hour hand is between 11 and 12, or 11:30, which means it is 11:30. If it's 11:30, we know our minute hand needs to be drawn all the way down to the number 6. Great job. Let's look at number 3. Our hour hand is 6:30, which means it is 6:30. If it's 6:30, our minute hand needs to be drawn all the way down to make sure it is touching the number 6. Great job, you guys. Keep up the hard work. Let's look at number 4. Our hour hand is pointing straight to the number 7, which means it's 7 o'clock. Great job. If it's 7 o'clock, do I need to draw my minute hand to touch the 6 or the 12? The 12. Good job. Remember, your minute hand touches the 12 when you're telling time to the hour, and it touches the 6 when you're telling time to the half hour. Okay, let's look at number 5. Our hour hand is pointing straight to the number 2, which makes it 2 o'clock. If it's 2 o'clock, does our minute hand need to point to the 6 or the 12? The 12. Great job. Let's look at number 6. Our hour hand, is it pointing exactly at a number, or is it between two numbers? It's between two numbers. It's between 3 and 4, or 3:30, which means it is 3:30. If it's 3:30, we need to draw our minute hand and make sure it touches the number 6. Awesome job. Let's look at our last page. Use the hour hand to write the time. Draw the minute hand. That's easy enough. We were just doing that. So let's look at number 7. Our hour hand, where is it pointing? Straight at the number 10, which makes it 10 o'clock. If it's 10 o'clock, our minute hand needs to make sure it's touching the number 12, because that means we're telling time to the hour. Let's look at our hour hand on number 8. Is it pointing directly at a number, or is it halfway between two numbers? It's between 12 and 1, which makes it 12:30 or 12:30. If it's 12:30, we need to draw our minute hand and make sure it touches the number 6. Okay, let's look at number 9. Where is our hour hand pointing? Is it pointing directly at a number or between two numbers? Directly at a number. And that number is 5, which makes it 5 o'clock. If it's 5 o'clock, our minute hand needs to go all the way up and touch the number 12. Good job. Number 10, our hour hand. Is it pointing directly at a number, or is it between two numbers? It's between 10 and 11 or 10:30, If it's 10:30, that means it is 10:30, and our minute hand needs to be drawn all the way to touch the number 6. Ooh, number 11 looks kind of tricky, but I know you guys are super smart. Our hour hand is pointing directly at the number 12, which makes it 12 o'clock. So where does our minute hand need to go? All the way up to touch the number 12. Good job, you guys. Let's look at number 12. Is our hour hand pointing directly at a number, or is it between two numbers? It's currently between 5 and 6, or 5:30. If it's 5:30, that makes it 5:30, and our minute hand needs to be drawn all the way down to touch the number 6. So number 13, explain, what is the error or mistake? Zoe tried to show 6 o'clock. Explain how to change the clock to show 6 o'clock. Does her clock show 6 o'clock? No, our hour hand is pointing to the number 12. And our minute hand is pointing to the 6, which makes it somewhat like 12:30. So we need to say, Zoe should draw the hour hand pointing between oh, excuse me, guys, I made a mistake. Zoe should draw the hour hand pointing. This is why you do math in pencil. Zoe should draw the hour hand pointing to the number 6. And the minute hand pointing to the number 12. So she just drew her hour hand and her minute hand backwards. And guess what? It's okay that I made a mistake. Teachers make mistakes too. Grown-ups make mistakes, and that's okay. We just need to learn from them. But also a really good point. I should be doing math in pencil, right? Not pen. I'll see you guys later. Have a good one.